right, this is an interesting team that I built, honestly, just for the fun of the stream, and that's why there's that little error at the beginning. I correct this very quickly in the first battle, and I'm not sure if I totally recommend this team, but it's more of just a fun thing I threw together. We were just sort of messing around on PvPoke. In fact, that's actually what's behind me right now, if I just reveal the curtain. That was what we were doing on stream, and I kind of just wanted an excuse to use my Umbreon. I built this during the Kanto week, and I was able to get Last Resort on it, which you most certainly want whenever you're running an Umbreon. So, like I said, I fixed this almost immediately while I noticed on stream. And so we're leading Pelipper with Dark and Ghost in the back. And Swampert's an interesting lead because Pelipper almost completely shuts it down. Now, I was a little iffy about the speed of these battles, so comment below if this speed is okay. I tried to go a little quicker because these games do play out very slowly in person. But yeah, I wanted to keep Pelipper on that Swampert for sure. And honestly, an Alola Marowak is a pretty good response to Brave Bird. And that was a moment on stream where I was like, this guy is insane. There's no way he's going to go for a... Holy crap, he really did go for Brave Bird. Okay, so I'm just going to farm that all the way down, going way over 100 energy, just double Shadow Bone the Swampert here, and just, you know, let it ride. And he actually let it through, so I was thinking, okay, we're in Bone Club range, let's just go for it. He shielded, and I didn't quite get to it in time, but I was like, you know what, just let it go, I did go through, okay, because I honestly figured, I don't know, the way that he just sacked the Skarmory, I honestly assumed, like, okay, Alola Marowak must be good against this team. So Umbreon's a really good generalist. Let's just throw it in and see what happens. And he left. So I don't know if he had a Hypno in the back or something really weak to Ghost and Dark. It would have to be a Psychic type. I'm guessing a Hypno, but yeah, he definitely didn't want any part in that battle. So, all right, fantastic. And these games are a little long. That's kind of why I sped it up, but I will be fast forwarding some parts later on because I'm pretty sure we have a couple of Umbreon mirror matches, and I make jokes on stream whenever that happens. Like, all right, if anybody wants to go ahead and grab a snack, it's Umbreon versus Dugong. If you guys are new to PvP, you might not know this, but Icy Wind there will not only do a little bit of damage, but it also lower your attack and slow the battle down by a lot. So Umbreon's already a very bulky Pokemon. It is very weighted towards defense and HP. It doesn't have a lot of attack stat, and this battle can really, really drag. If I wasn't explaining all of that, I would have skipped ahead, but I think it's around this point where I just bank a bunch of energy and swap out for two reasons. One, I'm bored. I hate it. I hate it when these battles drag on like this. And two, I don't think this is winnable. So honestly, I'm like, all right, I'm going to throw another foul play, and then I think it's when I saw how much damage this did that I was like, yeah, let me just get out of here. Let me bank a bunch of energy and get out of here. And I honestly thought that Weather Ball was going to be in range here. I should have known that Dugong is very bulky, but alas, he was able to get off another Icy Wind. Also, before this video gets too far in, I have added a submission link down in the description below. So if you are interested in sending me some battles, or if you want to leave me some feedback on what it looks like, check it out. I try to make it pretty clean. I was able to put my channel banner on there. I was like, ooh, this is looking professional. I'm liking this. And so give me an idea what you think, or if you want to submit some gameplay, of course, you can absolutely use that as well. I've been mostly just showcasing friends battles and whatnot, which is great. I appreciate you guys. But I understand that not everybody might want to just personally reach out to me. So if you just want to use that, drop the link and just pass along the battles, I will be happy to do that. If you're a fellow content creator and you want me to shout out your channel along the way, absolutely. Hey, if you're sending me battles, I am more than happy to send people your way as well. So, you know, win-win for everybody. But Jellicent is a Pokemon that I seriously wanted to build after seeing this because, man, I was waiting for the Shadow Ball. I just kept, like, playing chicken. Like, send it. Come on. Send the Shadow Ball. Just let me come in with Umbreon and farm you down. But he wouldn't do it. So I was like, all right, I'll switch into Umbreon. And he tanked some energy. And this is a game where honestly, the writing was on the wall a while ago. I'm not even sure why I stayed in for as long as I did, because Scrafty with 2 shields is just disgusting. My efforts here at this point are a little embarrassing. It's just me spamming Last Resort, having no hope of winning that battle. Scrafty with 2 shields versus 2 Pokemon that are weak to Scrafty. Yeah. It's not fun. But that's definitely a good lead. You really want to see the victory bell there. It's not like it's a great lead against Pelipper, but, you know, that's okay. However, what has a better matchup against Victory Bell is that Alola Marowak in the back. So I'm like, oh, fantastic. I'm happy to see a Stunfisk in the lead. I know I can tank 1 Rock Slide. I can resist all of those Mud Shots very easily. And because he switched in late, I have an advantage in the energy department because Weather Ball and Rock Slide, you get to them at the exact same time. This match is very balanced between Stunfisk and Pelipper. It's all about who shields what. And if you can sneak in a Wing Attack or a Mud Shot, that can really flip the battle. So the fact that he came in essentially 3 Wing Attacks in, I was like, okay, you're not really going to win this. And he just let it go. So I even won the 1 shield. And That is the bane of my existence. So that right there is why I didn't continue running this team. I got like 10 battles, so that's what we're going to cover here today. But this is why I don't totally recommend this team, because Bastiodon shuts it down. And again, I'm going to save us some time, just a little bit here, because Umbreon versus Bastiodon is a sleeper fest. I'm sorry, I went a little too far there. But yeah, those Pokemon are... Yeah, I thought Umbreon would have a better matchup against Bastiodon, and honestly, Alolan Marowak's charge moves do a good amount to Bastiodon. And of course, Weather Ball from Pelipper does well against Bastiodon. And I honestly thought all of that would be enough. Maybe my ranking is getting too high. I haven't been grinding terribly hard. I even skipped like an entire day or two. But I honestly thought I'd have enough oomph to handle Bastiodon. I'm not actually sure how this game goes. I might even win it. But later down the line, Bastiodon, it just shuts down this team. So spoiler, if you see any games with Bastiodon on the enemy team, those usually don't go well for me. But that was one of the one Pokemon when I was checking out on PvPoke that just had really winning match, like not totally winning, but soft wins against my entire team. So it's going to be a group effort. In that case, it worked out, but it's not always a fantastic job. So I left in this queue time here. Let me just... Oh, yeah, we got it matched up. All right, perfect. Yeah, Pelipper versus Hypno. So I figured, well, I've got two really good Hypno counters in the back, but he did the swapping for me. So I was like, okay, I'll just stay in here because, as I said, I really like to see that Umbreon on Hypno, and they let through the Hurricane. So I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what to do here. Shield and stay in, I suppose. I'll just spam Weather Ball at this point. There's no reason to build up to a Hurricane. This is a Shadow Lapras, no doubt, which, if I'm not mistaken, actually performs worse in Great League. So if you have a Shadow Lapras, you might want to do it for the flex, but overall, the regular Lapras actually has a better matchup against everything that Lapras has a matchup against. So it's not exactly recommended to run that. And I swapped on accident there. Right when it died, figured, all right, I'm going to come in with Umbreon. Oh, no. And then I did Hypno and was like, oh, God. That is how you lose a game right there. And you'll see how this goes. But all right, that's also why you hold on to Last Resort. That is definitely why you don't really mess around with Umbreons that don't have Last Resort. This move is pivotal because you are completely walled against Fairy types otherwise. Look how much damage in the red against what is ultimately a hard counter. So that's fantastic. I figured Psychic is worth shielding there, but oh wait, Hypno can have Shadow Balls. Like, oh god, no. Oh god, he's just gonna throw the Shadow Ball. I wasn't counting the energy. Please just let this through because this game is completely over. Oh god. So Shadow, Shiny, Hypno, no less. I didn't even notice that from the beginning. I just saw the Shiny, but oh, it's only a Thunder Punch. I was raving on stream at this point thinking, hey, we're alive. We're gonna win. Let's go. Boom. And then I made a joke about him receiving the bone from Marowak. I'm really not afraid of Craft's jokes, but yeah, I couldn't help myself. So yeah, that Hypno definitely got boned because of Shadow Bone, of course. There's nothing suggestive there at all. But yeah, it definitely was a fun matchup. I wasn't totally counting. I think he would have had enough for Shadow Ball, so maybe he was running something else. Oh god. It hurts me to even see it. It hurts me to even see it. Even Tropius, I was like, oh god, this is not winning for Umbreon. And that's why I'm starting to not like the Umbreon safe swap so much. Maybe somebody knows more than I do, and I just need to give this team a little more time. But honestly, Umbreon safe swap almost always seems like what I was doing in the Kanto Cup, where I was safe swapping Lickitung, but it wasn't XL'd all the way. So most of the time, it was almost like if 100% is a win in my brain, then it was like a 90%. I always got a shield and a lot of health, but I almost never actually won switch advantage. And that's kind of how Umbreon felt today. It very rarely actually won me switch. Like here, for example, I'm totally going to have to shield if I want to win switch, but I'm like, honestly, Alolan Marowak and Pelipper are pretty balanced against a Bastiodon, so I don't really need switch, and I guess I don't need shield, and I didn't know what to do here. I'm like, okay, Weather Ball is good. Bone Club's kind of good. I think in hindsight, it's better to just stay in and spam Weather Ball, but I decided to switch, and I really don't have an excuse. I didn't really know how to handle a Bastiodon at this point, and I haven't quite figured it out. It seems like Umbreon is what you want to keep on it, but yeah, again, maybe switching out was good because he's got a Politoed over there, but this game is one of those matches where this is lost. I mean, I don't think there's any recovery here. He would have to stop shielding everything, and even then, I think Stone Edge or at least Smackdown from Bastiodon is just going to do it all. And he knows that he's walled by Pelipper, so he's just completely sacking this Politoed. I stopped attacking just because I didn't even care anymore. However, in hindsight, I was just kind of giving up, which I don't think is unwarranted here. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that because I'm pretty sure he gets to a Blizzard here, which is just, again, That Bastiodon still had a lot of health in case you weren't paying attention, and 2 shields. So the only way I'm doing damage is with Weather Ball, and none of those are getting through. So that is, again, why I didn't really love this team. It was working well enough. It was fun. It was nice to use my Umbreon, but there was a lot of battles here where it just felt like hardcore lost. Like there was no win condition. Either I won pretty handily and had a great time, or I got completely decimated. And I don't love teams like that, so either way. Swampert on the lead, that's definitely what you want to see. Little laggy, I did record this from the stream, but it looks like it's catching up, no problem. And this is fine. They always throw on the Hydro Cannon. I'm really not sure what the tactic is there. Maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to soften me up before they swap. But yeah, they're just going straight for Hydro Cannon. I'm like, you could at least build up to Sludge Wave, but I don't know. Either way, sorry about this lagginess. I didn't know that was in the video, but either way, you see what's going on. Yeah, just shield and farm down. I'm like, okay, now I've got a Weather Ball to send into whatever, and I'm thinking, okay, Skarmory is not a huge threat to this team. I'm not really sure that it has a good matchup against Umbreon, but I know that it has a great matchup against Alola Marowak, and Pelipper is really important, because Umbreon and Alola Marowak don't share a ton of weaknesses, but Stunfisk is one of them that I'm scared of, and keeping a bunch of Weather Balls on hand for a potential Stunfisk is definitely a good reason to keep that thing alive, I guess. So I figured swapping out was safe there. And in this case, it's just, again, it's another one of those snooze fests. Stunfisk is going to spam Earthquake, and I'm going to spam Snarls and Foul Plays, and that is pretty much how that's going to go. But he ended up mud-shotting me down, and I am able to get into just a couple more Fire Spins, and this is a great position. I love this. Pretty sure he goes for Brave Bird here. I'm not even sure. Okay, I was considering that he might just go for that to sack it, but at this point, I figured, okay, I could have thrown the Shadow Bone, maybe saved us some time, but like, I'm just going to swap into Pelipper and double Weather Ball. If I'm not mistaken, he even lets this go through, or at least he should let it go through, because this game is totally over. Yeah, he is really hanging on like a champ. I think he assumes that he can build up to enough energy to get to a Sky Attack, but I'm pretty sure I can survive one. And don't quote me on this. I don't actually know the matchup, but I'm pretty sure that Alola Marowak actually wins CMP there. It doesn't even end up mattering because I was actually able to get to another Weather Ball. 5 wing attacks is all you need for a Weather Ball on Pelipper, and that is a really, really one matchup. So I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but again, I did try to trim this so it's clean. What even was that? It was pink. What the hell was I looking at? I'm actually very curious. This is not important, but oh, it was my camera. Okay, I'm sorry. I was restarting my app because the game was really laggy, and so maybe that stuttery won't be happening again. This is that matchup what I was talking about, where I can totally tank a Rock Slide. For whatever reason, I decided to shield right away. It doesn't really matter, because if they stay in, this is good for me. If I can if I can slip in a wing attack, this is a really good matchup for me. It's completely fine. Just spam Weather Balls, and I even caught on the Umbreon getting all fancy, like, all right, send the Rock Slide. And I don't really think I needed to do that, but if they start committing shields, that's winning for a little Stunfisk. So that's kind of a situation where I thought switching out was completely fine. And Umbreon versus Venusaur. I probably should have looked up the Umbreon matchups, because I don't seem to know what this thing wins. However, I don't know. It seemed to be pretty consistent here. I'm like, I don't even need to shield that, do I? Like, Frenzy Plant is a good move, but Umbreon is such a beast. It's so tanky. And I've actually been saving up tons of XL candy to get my Umbreon that's with perfect stats all the way to level 50. And that might happen. Another swap. I am just dancing on this guy right now. That might happen sooner or later. If you guys want to see an XL Umbreon in Ultra League, then let me know. But this is brutal for the enemy. I don't even know if I let this through. I think what I realized here was he switched in late. I'm like, okay, I'm 1 Fire Spin ahead. There's no way that you got to the Shadow Bone before me unless I was lagging, so I'm just gonna let that through. And it absolutely was a Bone Club. So I guess he just figured Shadow Bone would KO, which it does not. Do I shield here? Because if I shield and just Bone Club, that's going to just allow it through. But I know that he had a Venusaur and another Pokemon in the back, so I figured, all right, I'll just save a shield, farm down with Pelipper, and this should be a pretty easy game. I forgot about the Stunfisk. Okay, so Stream Me did not forget about the Stunfisk. Me right now totally did. So very, very good that I kept that shield. So yeah, this is, again, I can tank a Rock Slide from this range, and I've got a shield, and Mud Shots aren't doing anything. Yeah. Not even sure why he's staying in this game, because that match is totally over. I never even needed the shield. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. When I don't run into a hard counter like Bastiodon, this team actually, like, it's really dominant. Like, really, really good. I won lots of games with a shield and 2 Pokemon alive, and maybe that's normal for regular teams, but I feel like with Umbreon, even, like, you know, just a quarter of the health remaining, like, in that case, I was in the red, but I could have still tanked a Rock Slide, and I would have put up a fight against Sunfisk. So I'm not really sure that was a very close game at all. Now, that's an interesting situation. Scrafty is bad for the back line because it can hit both for super effective. Foul play on the Marowak and Power Up Punch on the other one. But at the same time, Azumarill isn't really something I want to match up against either. So I'm like, oh crap. One of the glaring weaknesses of this team. I guess Alola Marowak with Hurricane damage to boot is actually going to have a pretty good matchup here. In fact, I do actually think I end up spamming Bone Club. I didn't want to commit shields here, and I'm not really certain why. In hindsight, I really feel like committing shields, managing to take back switch. Like, look at how much I resist that. I did not need to be spamming Bone Club, but I think I try to farm down here because switch advantage is huge. And at this time, I was kind of curious why I wasn't, like, why I'm farming up. I'm saying to myself in the stream, like, what am I doing here? What am I going to use this energy on? Is Scrafty going to be a problem? Not really. I mean, I don't know. Pelipper has a really good matchup. From that health range in the green, it can absolutely tank. And I'm pretty sure a Bone Club does more damage. No, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure a Shadow Bone does more damage than a Bone Club, even when resisted. I was actually thrilled that he threw because, you know, that damage is going to go onto Alola Marowak. If he had the energy, he was going to throw it regardless. So to just tank it on a Pokemon that's nearly dead, that's fine. In this case, I have no excuse. I don't know what the plan was there. I guess I just saw that he was low, figured, oh, I'll farm down and then just throw into the next opponent's, you know, Pokemon. He seemed to lag a lot there. Maybe it caught up, but I don't know. I don't think that extra energy was necessary because, you know, Alola Marowak is not going to have a problem here. But yeah, this match is completely over. A very healthy Umbreon with tons of energy, and I'm pretty sure I still have a Weather Ball in the back. Alola Marowak has no play versus this team, and this game is completely over. I don't even think a Shadow Bone or a Shadow Ball would be bad here, but it's just a Bone Club. Like, that is a completely dominant victory. Once again, like, I had a winning match here with 2 Pokemon alive and a move stored in the back. So, I mean, on top of Bananas following there, that was a really dominant game. So sometimes this team goes really well, and sometimes it just struggles. So I'm not sure how long the next opponent's going to take, but yeah, this is all stream footage. It's amazing how the queue times are so low that I don't really cut out the time in between. Alola Muck is tricky. I guess Umbreon probably has a winning matchup, but he can hit neutral with Sludge Wave. I can hit neutral with Last Resort. That's probably good, but I know that Alola Marowak doesn't want to see this, so I just stay in with Pelipper and do my best. It is a pretty chunky bird, so maybe we're going to be fine. You know, we're hitting pretty hard too. He didn't seem to throw a move there. Either he was lagging or reacting slowly. I'm not sure what the plan was, but he did end up just sacking the Muck. But seeing as he's spending a lot of time throwing in his next enemy, or his next Pokemon, I figured, yeah, maybe he is lagging. But in that case, again, Skarmory. I have a really good matchup with a Marowak, so long as I save a shield for it, so I'm not really scared. I'm just going to swap in Umbreon, and I expect him to switch, but he's not, so I'm not really sure what's in the back at this point. It's kind of an interesting situation where whenever I switch, I always feel like I'm going to scare the opponent into switching as well, and then they don't, and I'm like, what do you know that I don't? Why are you still here? This is kind of scary. But it was a Galarian Stunfisk, and I'm like, oh, that's not a bad counter to Umbreon. It's a very even matchup, and you already had a health advantage, so I'm not sure why you didn't swap immediately. But in this case, it's not something I'm scared of either, because as you saw, I already banked a Weather Ball. So if I just save my shield, and I believe from that health range I can still tank a Rock Slide, I'm like, I don't even need this Umbreon anymore. You can just have it. And then he Rock Slided, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll get some extra foul play damage, but I didn't end up throwing it because he's almost in Weather Ball range. Right here, I was calling it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally tank a Rock Slide. So I think the plan here is to just double Weather Ball and then swap into Alola Marowak, which I think is a good plan. He's probably going to shield here, and I'll get more damage, which he caught on the Skarmory. Great play by him. But I don't really think it's still going to matter because the Skarmory died anyway. He's going to get a little bit of extra energy here, but it's not going to matter because for the second time in today's video, we have a great example of how this matchup can be very dominant. Like, the Mud Shots are doing no damage, and Wing Attack is very spammy. I was getting tricky here thinking, he can just throw into the Umbreon, and then I'll just swap to Alola Marowak. But I ended up getting the move on the Umbreon because, once again, I wanted to try out the Pokemon that I powered up, so I got to blow, do the final blow with the foul play. I think it would have been smartest to swap into Alola Marowak, but when the game is that close to being over, it doesn't really matter how you do it. You just need to do the final damage somehow, and that queued instantly. Against a rank 9 player, by the way. So that was happening the whole stream. You might have noticed. Again, we're screwing up. I was looking at a Twitch stream. What was happening was I was I was getting against higher level players the whole time. So maybe I'm just performing well. I did end these sets. I think I was, oh my goodness, what was the number? 30 something and 50? I don't remember. It was like a 68% win ratio. And I had a really bad 1-5 set earlier when I was just screwing around with bad teams. So minus that set, I have about a 70 something percent win ratio for the season, which is pretty good. I'm doing all right. And so I was feeling pretty good, and it was definitely ranking me against much higher players the whole time. So I'm off to I'm off to a pretty strong start, even if I am doing it quite slow. Where, as I've shown, I actually skipped like a whole day. So yeah, this is a case where if it goes straight Earthquake, that's gonna hurt, but we're still gonna tank it. I have pretty good IVs on my Umbreon. You can see the rankings. I put them in the username, but this is why I picked this one. It's like top 150, and you don't really need like, I guess CMP ties are good in an Umbreon v Umbreon matchup, but I just went for bulk here, and yeah, you can see like it did a bunch of damage in that matchup. Now in this case, yeah, either Pokemon is completely fine. I'm just gonna let him throw whatever. I'm just gonna farm down with Wing Attack if at all possible. You can see that Ice Punch doesn't even do that much, and I thought that matchup was good, honestly. And I was talking about this on stream. I was like, wow, I thought that was a clean victory. I don't know why. I just, like, Stunfisk got handled, Metacham's low. This game is a wrap. And then the Bastiodon came out. Yeah, there's nothing to do here. Like, I'm shielding, and I'm just trying to bait with Bone Club, but it doesn't matter. There's no winning this. Like, I don't even think I have a Weather Ball back there. He throws a move, so that last Bone Club was pretty much required to win, and I'm like, okay, maybe this Weather Ball will matter. It didn't even throw. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. That's lovely. It doesn't even let me throw the move that wouldn't even win me the game anyway. But there you go. Got an Emolga at the end, or a Molga at the end. Hopefully you enjoyed these battles. If you want to use this team, go for it, I guess. It's pretty good. Well ranked on PvPo, kind of. But as you saw, Bastiodon and Azumarill do really well against it. And those are way too common picks for you to want to use this team every game. If you guys want to submit some battles, link below. Follow the channel. Follow the Twitch link below where I record these. Subscribe on YouTube. And thank you guys so much for watching. And have a nice day.